All right, welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep into something I know is close to all of your hearts. Uh,
Definitely.
Raising healthy and intelligent kids.
Yeah.
We ask you to share some personal thoughts, excerpts, hopes, dreams, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, what a response.
It's amazing, right? Like, just thinking about the potential a newborn baby
I
has.
know. So much packed into those first few years.
Exactly. And those excerpts you sent, they really highlight just how crucial that period from like birth to age 5 really is.
Yeah.
Like, it's laying the groundwork for everything that comes later,
Well,
for their whole life.
totally. Okay, so let's unpack that groundwork idea a
All
bit.
right.
One of the excerpts that really jumped out at me talked about motherhood as this manifestation of power.
Hmm.
It's like parents have this incredible ability to shape a child's whole world. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it's not just about creating a loving environment, although that's like fundamental, of course.
Right. Yeah.
But your sources also go deeper, like into the science behind it all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, for example, they talk about the amazing brain development that happens in those first 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
They even call it the golden time.
Golden time. Huh?
Yeah.
It sounds almost magical.
Right.
But what's actually going on in their little brains during this time?
Well, think of it as like this period of super fast connections.
Yeah.
Neural pathways are forming like crazy, especially in areas related to language and how they handle their emotions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and even things like executive function, all that stuff.
So what happens during those years?
What can have a huge impact, like a lasting impact, on their thinking abilities later on,
Wow, that's fascinating.
and also their emotional well-being.
So practically speaking, what can parents do to, help that growth along?
One of the biggest things your sources emphasize is something called responsive caregiving.
Responsive caregiving.
Yeah, especially in that first year. It basically means being really tuned into your baby's cues and responding to them consistently.
So like when they cry, you pick them up.
Exactly. And, it helps build this secure attachment, which is like the foundation for everything, like emotional intelligence, healthy relationships later on.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
It's almost like by being so present and responsive, you're actually like wiring their brains for positive interactions.
exactly.
But life happens.
Of course.
What if a parent feels like they haven't been as responsive as they could have been?
Hmm.
Or they're worried about, missing out on opportunities during this golden time.
Yeah, that's a really common worry, and it's a great question.
Yeah.
The good news is the brain is amazingly adaptable.
Okay.
So even though those early years are really important, it's never too late to
Yeah.
nurture their development.
Right.
The key is to focus on creating a loving and stimulating environment
I see.
that encourages them to explore, to learn, and to connect.
I love that.
Yeah.
It takes some of the pressure off.
For sure.
Like you're not doomed if you miss a few milestones or something. You mentioned stimulating environments, and I know from your notes, you're really hoping your little one will grow up to be a creative thinker.
Oh, absolutely. And your sources actually talk a lot about the power of play.
Okay.
Like, play-based learning is huge for fostering creativity.
So like what, just giving them toys and letting them go wild?
Well, it's a bit more than that.
Yeah.
It's about giving them open-ended toys, the kind that let them use their imaginations,
Yeah.
and then encouraging that imaginative play, letting them explore their world without, a ton of strict rules.
Right? Right.
That can really do wonders for their creative development.
I see.
Even something as simple as reading aloud to them.
Yeah.
It exposes them to all these new words, ideas, ways of thinking.
That all ties back so well to that manifestation of power idea we talked about.
Doesn't it?
It really shows how much influence parents have.
Yeah.
But it's not about controlling their destiny, right?
No, not at all.
It's more like giving them the tools
The tools and the environment to thrive, to become
to be,
the best versions of themselves, whatever that might look like for them.
because every kid is different.
Exactly. Every child is unique, develops at their own pace.
Right.
They have their own strengths, their own talents to discover.
This deep dive has been so insightful.
It has, hasn't it?
We've covered so much: the brain development, responsive caregiving, fostering creativity.
It's a lot to think about.
It is. So where does this leave you, as you think about raising your own child?
Honestly, I think the biggest takeaway for me is just the reassurance that I'm not alone in this.
That's so important.
There's so much information out there, so much support. And by tapping into that, by trusting my instincts
Yeah.
and staying curious about how my child is developing, I think I'm on the right track.
Beautifully said.
Thanks.
And for everyone listening, as you embark on this incredible journey of parenthood,
It is incredible.
just remember that even those small, intentional actions can have a huge impact,
They really can.
like a ripple effect
Yeah.
that lasts a lifetime.
Absolutely.
It's about fostering connection, sparking that curiosity, and creating a world where your child can truly flourish.
I love that.
Me too.
Flourish.
Yeah. All right, that's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.